Hey, I'm Kelly, and this is Brad, and you are listening to the Living Room Podcast,
where we sit down with real people to hear real stories about a real God. Hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome to the living room, man.
Thank you, sir.
So good to be here with Nick Darwood, our friend. And I am so excited about hearing your story this morning. I've heard some pieces of it, but I'm glad that you were here with us this morning. And so just tell us a little bit about yourself, Nick. What do you do for a living, and how long you've been going to church? And I know we'll get into some of that this morning too. But
tell us about your family.
yeah, about your family.
Technically, my name is Herman Nicholas Darwood. I go by Nick because of Nicholas. Go by Nick. I'm from Apopka, Florida. That's where I was raised, in Apopka, Florida. I'm a USDA inspector.
We appreciate that.
Yes.
No problem at all. And I have my wife, Alicia Darwood. We have 4 children: Jordan, Jaden, Jansen, and Janicia.
All the J's.
Thanks for that too.
All
the J's.
all the J's, and we've been here in Effingham. I think it's going on 6 years. Yeah, summer of 2000. 6 years this June or July, and we've been coming to RCOG for right at about year and a half. Yeah, right. A little bit less, a little bit more than a year and a half. A year and 9 months.
Yeah. I
think October was the first time ever walking.
And I think you told me at some point you drove past our church for about 5 years.
Yeah.
Didn't even see it. Didn't know it was here.
I drove. I worked right down on Ebenezer Road, and for 5 years, every day I crossed this, went to work past there, and
well, I'm sure that's something
home.
we're going to dig into just a little bit as a part of your story. So I'm going to let
awesome.
you get it started here, and of where you want to start, and and we'll go from there. So take it away, man.
All right. See, where to start? I think I'm going to start from the beginning. Growing up, it was I was adopted at 9, and what was really, it was when you put in the foster system, you're a kid.
Do you remember how old you were when you were in the foster system?
It had to been about 6 or 7.
Okay.
Round about there, because I was able to remember some aspects of it. So my memory was there with some aspects. But when you're a kid, you're not understanding, and I didn't realize this years later, you're not understanding there's a reason that the state came and got you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So starting out, this is what I remember, and this is kind of what as I met some of my biological family, this is kind of but this is what I remember. I remember at the age of 5, about 6 or 7, maybe a little younger, had to been about 5, 6, 7. But I remember, I had a thing that what was called Hirschsprung's disease, and that was a disease of it's a disease of the colon.
Okay.
And for some reason, it's 1 in every 5,000 men get it. And for some reason, the cells stop growing in your intestines. So because the cells stop growing, they don't know why or how, it just stops. It forms a blockage. So when it forms that blockage, there's 1 or 2 things that can be done. They go in, they'll do little biopsies and see where the cells start. And where they find out that the cells start, they're going to cut off the back end, and it's going to be long enough to connect it.
Yeah.
And if it's not long enough to connect it, they're going to give you a colostomy bag. And then you have to wait a year or so till you get till your intestine grows. Then they go back in a year and they're going to connect it.
Wow.
So for me, I have a big scar on my side. I had to have the colostomy bag, and this is they detect this within your first couple of days because you're not able to poop.
Wow.
Like
So
first couple of days of
of
birth?
life.
All right.
Yeah. So you're not eating, you're not able to poop because you feel full. So and ironically, my firstborn, Jaden, he had the same thing, and it's not hereditary. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, so had the colostomy bag, and because of there were situations, and I'm not going to go all in deep, but because there were situations I wasn't being taken care of properly, and being that I wasn't taken care of properly, and so they put me into a now this is as I'm 5, I'm in school 5, 6 years old. I'm in school, and I wasn't potty trained. Nobody taught me, so I remember getting off the bus and coming home, and kids are laughing at me, and I'm walking, and there's poop running down my leg. And I guess after a while, the school started noticing, seeing things, and so they put me in a special school.
Okay.
And they put me in this special school, and there was nothing physically wrong with me. There was nothing mentally wrong with me.
Sure.
It was I haven't learned, so they threw me on a diaper, sent me to this pretty much a handicapped school. And now, there were some benefits to this situation because, and trust me, this is part of my story. I'm not making fun of anybody. Because I went to this special school, I was able to participate in the Special Olympics. And when I tell you I was a star in the Special Olympics, I was a star. My mama, and so I'm kind of fast forwarded just a bit. My mama who saw me on Wednesday's Child.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, let me go there. So they put me in a special school, and so whatever was going on with my biological mama, whatever it was, she wasn't around.
Yeah.
So then they put me up for adoption, and so I got on this program called Wednesday's Child. Now about this time I had to been about 7, 8. So a couple of years done went by. I had been about 8. So, and which ironically at this time now, I gotta kind of set the picture. I had a wandering eye. It still wanders a bit, but at this time, it was stuck. So this eye, so I got poop running down my legs. My eye is cocked in one, like something wrong with this boy, you know, like, so I can imagine somebody looking at me like, yeah, put him in the special school.
Oh, no.
So I can imagine the outside looking in, but there was nothing. So anyway, I'm on this program called Wednesday's Child.
And Wednesday's Child, because I didn't know this about your story, but that's what I do that for a living. Some of that is a publication for kids to match them with adoptive families.
Yes.
It basically puts a photo up and a little blurb about who you are,
Yes.
right? And that's it's online and it's flyers and things like that.
Where at this time,
it's probably
back then it was an actual news broadcast.
Okay. And
so
they had you.
I go on the news. It was Christmas time.
Okay.
I went to some place where they was making toys or buying toys, and Bob Opsahl was the news guy. I can't remember. I think it's Channel 9 or Channel 2. I don't quite remember which one. I have to look it up. But I saw Bob Opsahl, you know, as I grew up all the time.
Yeah.
You know, as I met my mom and my dad, I saw him all the time. And I was like, man, that's the guy, you know, I did the interview with. So anyway, so they would actually do a segment, and they would interview the kid.
Yeah.
And they would have them, you know, talking about him up for adoption. Anyway, so at the end of this interview, and my mom was sitting there watching the news that day, and at the end of the interview, they asked me, "What do I want for Christmas?" And I don't know if it was the salesman in me or what it was, but I took that mic and I looked at that camera and I said, "All I want for Christmas is a mommy and a daddy."
Oh.
And my mama said, years later, my mama said she saw that and she was like, "I had to have you."
Wow.
I don't know, the eye, I don't know what she saw, but she looked at me and was like, boy, I gotta help this boy. It was something about him. So my mama, she whatever the process was, I don't know, whatever the process was, and so I come and I go and I meet my mom and my dad. My dad's from Jamaica. I mean, to me, he's 10 feet tall. You know, big dude. I think he's 6 feet, but in my mind, he's big guy, burly, Jamaican, thick accent. And my mom was a little short lady, but she didn't play. So I go, I meet him, I come in as a foster. I was her first foster kid, and then she adopted me. Now she had to have been older. I tried to do the math. She had to have been mid-50s or something like that. So. I just want to picture how God works. At 9 years old, and you, 9 years old, and you working in the foster care system, that's very rare that somebody picks that kid and say, "I want to adopt him and bring him in." It's very rare. Normally, they want the babies because whatever trauma they've had, people don't want to deal with that for the most part, their upbringing. So I'm right at the brink of pretty much getting ready to get into boys' homes. Yeah. And then at 18, cut me loose and figure this thing out on your own. So when I say I believe that God orchestrated my movements, my steps, everything that happened later on in life, God orchestrated it because I'm supposed to be in a boys' home. So my mom and dad, we meet. They they took me in, they adopted me, and so before this, they took me in. So my mama, she comes to the school one day, and so now we're at the Special Olympics, right? And I am killing it because I got all my limbs, I got everything is working. I'm killing it.
This feels wrong to laugh to. But I don't know what to do right now.
But see, the thing about it is, I had to come into that. This is part of my story. Sure. Yeah. So it's not like I'm making fun because as I tell more of the story, people get it. So trust me. And
anybody that knows you or us knows we are not laughing at that.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so I'm there. But this is a pivotal moment. This is a pivotal moment in my life as I tell the story, because I'm running against kids in wheelchairs. I'm running against kids in walkers. I'm running against kids, and I'm getting gold medals. And I told my wife the story before she even went home. And I had a Special Olympic plaque in my room, and I had all gold in the 5 categories. I had gold shot put, long jump, 200, 400, 100. I clean house. It got to be some type of Special Olympic record. Only because I went to the special school, I was able to go to the Special Olympics, but there was nothing wrong with me. So my mama, they're out in the stands, and a lot of this I'm finding out years later. As I got older, me and her sitting and having conversations and talking. A lot of this, my mama look and say, "I be dog." She said, "Why is Nick running against these kids?" You know, in her mind, like, why? Yeah. So anyway, fast forward. Mama decides to throw me a birthday party. I'm her son. Took me in. She throws me a birthday party at the school. Mama never been to the school. She don't. So mama cooked fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, collard greens, cornbread, the whole shebang. She cooked and bring this to the school. Wow. She walks into my classroom nobody else can, I think, is quadriplegic. A lot of them was quadriplegic. Wow. And my mama say, none of these kids can even eat the food. So she's looking at me and like, why are you here?
Okay.
And I'm here because I poop on myself. So my mama told me, and this is where, when I say God orchestrated this thing, my mama, she said, no, you're going to learn to control your bowels. You're going to learn what needs to be done. Mama took me out of that school and put me in regular school. My mama was working at Darwood Elementary. And she took me out of that school and she took me out of that school and this is kind of where it starts. Mm-hmm. But if she doesn't have that compassion, if she doesn't see, and because of me being in this school, I'm like a teacher's helper. Yeah. I'm wheeling kids around. Mm-hmm. I'm not really the fundamentals. Sure. That's why school was hard, because the fundamentals wasn't really there. Yeah. Because I'm in this classroom, and then, like I say, it's nothing. It's nothing like I'm laughing about the Special Olympics. It's nothing like that. It's just a part of my story, and to me that helped help my mama to see, okay, there's more in you than this.
Yeah. What were some of the things that you had to deal with when you made that transition into regular school? I'm sure there probably were several years of things that.
Well, I think one of the main things that I learned is that I wasn't the athlete that I thought I was, because they had to sign up for track, yeah. And I'm like, track and field, that's my thing. I'm a star. I got gold medal, my plaque. Oh, so man, I go to sign up for track, and I realized I wasn't the star I was, because these kids I would go and I'm leading off, and then I'm doing all right, and then next thing I know, they come and they zooming by me, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be. My afterburner's not working, so I realized at that point that I wasn't a track star at all. But one of the main things that I had to get used to the structure of a classroom, because in there I didn't
have that before. You
didn't really have that, yeah, and so. I can get up to go to the bathroom whenever I want. It's not structured like, okay, everybody, let's take a break, let's do this, let's do that. So that's one of the biggest things that I had to learn, and like, man, I just can't. I'm not free willy like I was at the other school. You know what I'm saying? So, and another thing that I had to learn, or one of the main things, it was reading. And my mama was a teacher, so, Hooked on Phonics back in the day came out. I was on the Hooked on Phonics. And,
you was Hooked on Phonics?
Yeah, I was Hooked on Phonics worked for me.
It does work.
I was.
We need to bring that back.
I was on. She was doing that. I would come home. She would make me read out loud just to get the habit of reading out loud, and that's why when God does what he do, it's like, wow, like you look at things like, dude, this ain't me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is, this is God. So anyway, I'm growing up, and God blessed me to have. So as I'm growing up, my dad is a worker. I mean, my dad would drive semi trucks, and he'll be gone long haul. He'll come back home. I've seen him come back home, take his semi clothes off or whatever, maybe take a nap or two, get up, go cut the grass at the Orlando Science Center. Then I've seen him go from that, come back, he's somewhere cutting down trees. So my dad was a provider, he was a worker, and that's where a lot of my work ethic and stuff come from, sitting there watching my dad. He wasn't a super emotional person, like conversation, wasn't super. He was you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, And
old school.
old school.
Yeah.
Exactly what it was. So, but he was a great father. He was a provider, father. But God, my church family that I grew up, Freedom Ministries in Apopka, Florida, my church family that I grew up, Pastor Fillmore, they really set a foundation for me. And in that foundation, there were men that was in my life. That brother Burrell, he recently passed. That was my first technical job. I was shining shoes in downtown Orlando. He was a shoe shineman at the church, but he was a loving brother and always there to help. Brother Birdsong, I used to work with him. He had like a multi-purpose business, cutting grass, painting, whatever it was. So I was there as a young age and doing work. And I mean, one year I got suspended, and I got suspended for 5 days one time. My first and last time ever getting suspended. And my mama made me go work with him. You're not sitting at home and relaxing. You going away. And me and him running joke. He had me de-nailing boards, and it was winter. In Florida, I know you think, but this particular day it was cold. He was in there with his kerosene heater, and I was in there outside de-nailing these boards. And I'm thinking, man, this guy's got me out here. But I learned so much from these gentlemen. And so as I'm going through 18, 19 years old, and now I'm in that transitional state, and in that transitional state, I'm like, where am I going in life?
Yeah. What
am I doing? I knew I didn't want to go to college. I was like, it was everything for me to get through school.
Yeah.
I was like, so I knew in my mind, okay, I got to join the workforce. So I started working before then, I remember one day I was in the church bathroom, and I was crying. I've been 18, 19 years old. I was boo-hoo crying. Jerry Chambers, he came in the bathroom, saw me crying. Said, dude, what's going on? I said, man, I'm scared. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I mean, it's an empty moment at that age, to where when you don't know, and people pushing college.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, it took me an extra year to get through high school. I don't see myself as that. Now, could I, man? Maybe, but for me at that time, I'm not about to go.
Not an option, yeah.
So Jerry was like, and he was very instrumental. Jerry was like, bruh, he was like, dude, you're gonna be good. You got a good foundation. You're gonna be good. God is gonna direct you. God is gonna use you. You're gonna be great. And I'm freaking out, But he took that time, and I always remember this day. He took that time, and he was there to help me through that process. And we built a good relationship from that point on. Confide in him, talk with him, and he never was a judgmental person. So anyway, now I get a job building cabinets at Regal Marine, and then after then I'm going to I started working for Stay-Well Health Insurance with a guy Will, a good friend of mine, and I was appointment setter, and he worked for like a healthcare. It was called Stay-Well Health Insurance, and I was an appointment setter, and I was setting appointments and go knocking door to door, talking to people, and trying to get them to allow the agents to come talk to them. And I was pretty good at it. But the goal was to start as appointment setter, and then me get my insurance license, and then I can become an insurance agent. Mm-hmm. Well, that's school. Sitting down, learning, that's school. And so I dragged that process way too long, to where, because appointment setter, they only want you to do about a year, because it gets tiresome. It gets taxing and tiresome. And so because I didn't do what I was supposed to do, I got lackadaisical in that job, and I started got lackadaisical, and so then I started falsifying documents, making up names, gotten lazy, Nobody's watching me. And so the agents they looking for road streets that's not there, names that's not there. Oh, wow. So I felt real bad because he gave me an opportunity.
Yeah.
And because I dragged it out in the fear is so important, in the fear of not wanting to go to the class. I went to a couple of classes. I'm not understanding none of this stuff. And that fear, I just stayed in that. And so ultimately I got fired.
So the thought of having to do something like school or do something where you knew that in the past was, man, uncomfortable and painful, probably in a lot of parts, some of the things you might have had to deal with in school. Is that, kind of looking back, can you see sort of a theme like that, or like sort of the avoidance of I guess, things that are attached to those painful memories or the fearful parts?
Yeah. I wasn't a great reader. Mm-hmm. And I remember in class, I would be like, this is what I would literally do in class. Like, say teachers say, Brad, you read this paragraph. Kelly, I want you to read. So I started counting the kids. And then I would say, okay, I should be reading right by in this section. So I would start trying to practice and read where when it gets to me, I can kind of be prepared to be able to read it. Now, sometimes I would hit it. Sometimes I wouldn't hit it. And if I see the person next to me say, you're reading, and I'm like, man, I done practice here, mm-hmm. and I'm going to be reading up in here, I would be like, can I go to the bathroom? I would excuse myself out the room some way where I didn't have to sit there and read out loud and do do that. So to answer your question, yes, that the whole learning, it was like once I learned how I learn, it started I'm like, man, like my daughter asked me the other day, she said, Dad, if you could do one thing in life all over again, what would it do? What would you do? I said, I would have taken school more seriously. And I would love the opportunity to understand how I learn. Because me sitting in front of a book reading is not how I learn. Mm-hmm. Now, hands-on, you giving me something and you making it practical, that's how I learn. I can grab it. But at that time, I didn't know. So me going into this health insurance, like, it wasn't the right fit. It just wasn't the right. And I'm not making no excuses or anything to it. But as you get older, you start, like, I'm not understanding I had test anxiety. But I had it. I have test anxiety, and so I didn't know what it was back then. But man, my palms start sweating and getting nervous, and it could be stuff that I know, and you read it on this, and it's gone, and it like
no, it's a real thing.
Yeah, and so with so by now I get fired from the health insurance. And like I said, 18, 19 years old, I think 20. And I'm looking for a job. Couldn't find a job. And I lost my car. My daddy had a Tacoma. I wish to this day I would have kept that truck. It was a stick shift, one of those little green 1998 Tacomas. And that's what I was driving around. And I wanted something I can lean back in.
Yeah.
And my daddy said, no, boy, you fine. No, Dad, I want something. So I went and got a Dodge Neon. And he co-signed for me a Dodge Neon.
What color was it?
It was white.
Okay.
And so I wanted to lean back and ride or whatever. Just dumb. So anyway, I get this car. I get this car. It got taken away. And my dad is like, you did this. I'm not paying for it. So I'm going through a transition, like me and my parents, we're not in a good vibe. So thank God my church had a summer program that year. And they was like, well, you can come work here. Can't pay you a whole lot, but you can come work here. At least that was something with me to get out of the house and me and my parents going back and forth. Mm-hmm. So that summer and this is when life really started changing. That summer, so I'm working at the church at the summer program, helping out. And my every morning I had to walk to the, because I didn't have a car. And my mom was no, you walk. So every morning I walk to the church, to the summer program. But every morning before I left, this Job Corps commercial would come on. And the ride was real big back then, those commercials, and a lot of those training facilities and all. But every morning at almost the same time, this Job Corps commercial comes on. Yeah. And so as the summer's going on, I'm like, man, I'm not doing nothing. So it goes on. I'm going to the church, and so one day I stop and I pick up the phone and I call that Job Corps number. And so they sent me something in the mail. They gave me a recruiter's information. So I asked my mom if I can borrow the car. I need to go to Orlando because I need to go to Orlando because I'm gonna try this Job Corps thing. So I go there. The lady asked me, "Hey, I said I want to stay in Florida." She was like, "Why?" I said, "I'm gonna go to one right in Jacksonville." Because Popka's right outside of Orlando. Okay. I say, go to one in Jacksonville. She said, well, you ever flown in a plane? I say, no. I just want to stay right here in Florida. And she was like, you ever seen snow? Nope. I'm from Florida. I'm fine. I want to stay right here in Florida. Now, she lied to me. And she tells me, hey, I got one in Morganfield, Kentucky. I say, what? She said, I got a Job Corps in Morganfield. If you go there and you don't like it, I will transfer you. And I never do this. She lied because I never heard from this lady again. So she convinced me, talked me into going to Job Corps in Morganfield, Kentucky. So I get to Job Corps in Morganfield, Kentucky. And it's nothing like the commercial said it was. I mean, oh my God. It was, so that Sunday, because I left on a Tuesday, that Sunday, me and my parents, we get into some type of spat, and I mouthed off to my mama, I'm leaving, I ain't never coming back. Never coming back. Whew. So, whatever. So I get there. This place is nothing like the commercial. Because on the commercial, they have what's called the 900s. They call it Beverly Hills. And it's 4 kids to a room. They got their own bathroom. Mm-hmm. And that's what they sell on the commercial. Okay. So as I get there, and we're going through OT, and I'm a square. I'm an absolute square. And I'm okay with who I am. Because they ask, on the brochure, they ask white polo shirts, khaki pants, a belt. I get to the airport. I got white polo shirt, khaki pants, a belt. And as I'm getting to the airport, and then we go to a smaller airport, now I'm seeing there's a lot of kids, but none of them is doing like, I got my shirt tucked in and I'm ready to go. None of them is doing this, And so this is weird because I'm looking to go. I did HVAC. So I was
going to ask. HVAC.
Yeah. Okay. What's that?
HVAC.
Yeah.
Okay, so air conditioning.
Okay. Air conditioning. And so I'm doing. I go down because I'm just trying to better my situation. Like I'm one of the few kids that's going to this program to better my situation. And so I get there, and as soon as I get off the bus, well, first they drive you by the 900s. And so you ever see on the movies and people kind of like, something pass by you, and I'm looking like, hold on, this is where I'm supposed to be going. Where am I? So we go to another area, and these are like the common dorms. So I go in here, and they are like, so I get off the bus. Dude come up to me. I kid you not. He said, where you from? I said, Florida. He said, good. I never forget this. He said, because Florida, South Carolina, and the Haitians, we run this. I said, huh? Run what? He said, we run this. So you join us, you're going to be protected. And I'm like, huh? I said, excuse me? I said, bro, I don't, that's not me at all. All right. He got mad. All right. This ain't no game around here. Don't run to me later talking about you need protection. Don't run to me later talking about you need protection. And I'm like, where in the world am I?
Right.
So then I come to find out that most of the people there are court ordered to be there. So this is not an environment of little square Nick. Hey, I'm coming to get this training and I'm trying to better myself. Like it's literally ran almost like jail.
Oh
Wow.
Yeah, and so a lot of the politics behind it. So now I've seen people go in there, run their mouth. I've seen them got beat down by 20, 30 people.
Jeez.
A lot of them running their mouth. So I called my mama maybe about 2-3 days. Remember I told my mom I'm coming and I'm never coming back. Yeah, boy, you gotta be you gotta be careful what you say. So, and I think and me and my mom have had conversations about this. I think this was one of the most hardest things she ever had to do. And I called my mama. I said, Mom, I want to come back home. She said, nope. She said, you'll figure it out. And I'm like, Mama, this is not what they told me it was like.
Yeah.
And she's like, you'll be all right, Nick. You're smart. You'll be all right. And so she didn't let me come back. Because I could have been like, I'm done. It's voluntary. So I could be like, I want to go back home. And they would just sit me on the plane and send me back. Well, plane there, it would have been a Greyhound on the way back. So my mom was like, no, you'll be all right. And I thank God to this day that she did. Mm-hmm. Because I learned so much about myself. I learned who I was. I learned, man, if I can thrive, and I played basketball, and they used to call me coach because I had another buddy, Mikhail, a good friend of mine. He helped me a lot through that transition also. Mikhail, and he was an AAU basketball coach. And he allowed me to help us, and I love basketball, helped me be an assistant coach. And so I had a shirt at Jobco, one of my AAU, we was called the Florida Storm, and it said coach on the back. So everybody had nicknames at Jobco, so everybody started calling me coach.
Yeah.
Coach was my nickname. And so I played basketball, went to the gym, played basketball, and then I would cut hair for money. I would sell drinks. I had a little convenience store selling noodles. I do haircuts. Now I never been to jail, but it's ran like say you come to me for a haircut today and it's $5. But say, Coach, I ain't got the money today. Well, on payday, because they gave us a stipend every 2 weeks. They give us a stipend. So on payday, that $5 cut done turned to $10. So on payday, you pay me $10. So I was cutting hair, and I was doing really good. Thriving, had a little money in my pocket, cutting hair, selling drinks, whatever, stuff, like Cokes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing, like, I'm learning about myself, like, you know. And so people was like, because I was so genuine and I was so real with who I was, like, even like the guys that was like, don't touch him, like, you gonna need my protection. Like, somebody stole from me one day, and they were not happy. Like, you don't mess with Coach. Like, that's how it kind of it kind of built like that. Mm-hmm. So my good friend, we're friends to this day, Joe Walker, I was cutting his hair. Joe's a very smart dude, college dude. He's same mindset as me. He come here to help him better himself. Mm-hmm. And so Joe was like, hey, man, you should join the college program. And I was like, again, school.
Don't want anything.
I don't want nothing. I said, bro, that ain't me. Because I finished my trade and I came in October. I was done with my trade in January. And so I was like, man, I'm done. Because I went to class. Me and a buddy called, his name Alvin Ford. Me and him was the only two in HVAC every day going to class and learning. People playing spades, taking naps. They're just here for 3 meals and a roof over their head. So me and Alvin, we fast tracked through the program fast. So if even one day my HVAC named Greg Gervais, my HVAC teacher come in and he called me in the office, he said, why are you here? I said, man, I'm just here because he's looking at me like I come to class, good vibe, personality, never really in a bad mood. He said, why are you here? He called my mama. He said, ma'am, I just want to let you know you raised excellent young man. He called my mama on the phone and just was raving right while I'm in the office, raving about me. It's been a joy to teach him. So I finished the program for his HVAC, and I already had my high school diploma.
Yeah.
So HVAC comes along, and Joe was like, "Hey man, you should join the college program." I said, "Bro, I don't know the college program." He said, "Bro, you'll be all right." So I do it just so I don't go back, because I ain't had nowhere to go back to Florida. So Joe was like, "Yeah, go." Joe was like, gave me the lady name, blase, and was like, so I joined the college program. So then I moved to the 900s. Remember the Beverly Hills, the Hollywood? Mm-hmm. So then go join the college program, I moved to the 900. Then I met my good friend Ben and my good friend Travis, and we all friends to this day. Yeah. Over 20 something years ago. We was roommates, and that was the 4 in a room, and we was there. And so I go through the college program. I move so I decided to move off. I only did January to May. And so that summer I said, well, I'm going to take a summer off and I'm going to move off and get a job. And I couldn't find a job in HVAC. So they was like, well, won't you go to the chicken house? They hire anybody walk through the door. So me and Ben, we go to the chicken house, Tyson Foods in Robards, Kentucky. We go to the chicken house, slicing and dicing chicken 16, 17, 18 hours a day. Man. Just working, working, whatever. So anyway, so that transition happened. I'm living in Kentucky. We moved off Job Corps. I stayed in Kentucky, and I met my wife. Then I get a job. Then I put in for USDA. I saw USDA walking through the plant. I'm like, man, who that? They said, oh, man, that's USDA. I said, I don't not too many people bother them, because there's a lot of pressure, working in that chicken industry. It's a lot of pressure. I say, man, I like. So I met some USDA, some friends of mine, and they said, man, you should join. I said, man, what you need? Because I think I need a college. They say, man, you got a high school diploma? I say, yeah. Do you have any major felonies? I say, no. They say, well, then you qualify. I say, for real? They say, yeah, we come on my house and I get you set up on the computer and we can get the ball rolling. Put in for USDA, got the job. Then me and Alicia, we moved to North Georgia.
How old are you about that time?
Well, we met September 15th of 2024. So I was 24. Okay. So now there's a transition, and there's a transition moment and all of that where I started. Well, I think this is big. So I started hanging out, having fun, church boy. I'm having the time. I'm having fun. So I go back home to visit. And Jerry, the same guy that was in the bathroom with me, I go over his house and visit him. He said, boy, how you doing, boy? So I'm doing good. He said, you look a little different. I said, I'm good. He said, you having fun, ain't you? He's a church brother. So you having fun, ain't you? I said, yeah. He said, what you doing? I said, drinking mostly, but nothing big. He say, you doing drugs? I said, nah, man, I don't mess with no drugs. And this was a very pivotal moment because he didn't condemn me. Mm-hmm. He didn't say, boy, you know better than this. You was raised better than this. We have so many people in the church that want to point fingers and beat somebody down. And Jerry said, I'm going to tell you this. He said, I figured out what happened. You've been in church all your life. You get out there. And this is what he told me, and it stuck with me. And he said, don't get so far out there where you can't find your way back home. He was talking about in Christ. Yeah. And we've had conversations since that day. And he knows now, because I told him how important that was to me. Because me and my boys, we out, we having fun, we're partying, we're doing whatever, we're chasing women, we're living as 20-year-old kids. Yeah. But then I started feeling, after that conversation, I started feeling the void that we're running out and we chasing after. Yeah. Started feeling that void. And Jerry, and that conversation with Jerry, he kept saying, don't get so far out there where you can't find your way back to Christ.
So this conversation with Jerry, was this before you moved to North Georgia?
Yes, this was this was before I moved to North Georgia.
Okay.
This was in the transition right before I met my wife.
Gotcha. Okay.
So Jerry shares that with me, and I go back. I'm like, all right, Jerry, all right, like that. But it was so powerful because he didn't condemn me.
Yeah. And so you carry that into, I'm sure that stays with you for a long time. And so you get married.
Yeah.
You move from Kentucky to North Georgia.
Yeah.
So what were some of the things that began to change in North Georgia?
So North Georgia, see, at that time, with a little bit after that conversation with Jerry, that's when I had my all moment with God. Yeah. And I was cooking breakfast. I always cook breakfast, play gospel music. No matter what I did Saturday night, Sunday morning, I cooked breakfast and played gospel music. That's what my mama did. That's what I knew. That's what I did. So that moment is when I had my first all moment with God. And a song by Donnie McKirkland came on. It was called "So in Love." Came on, and it's like God writing a letter. It's something from the heart of God. God's writing a letter. It's talking about, what have I done to make you turn away? What have I done to you? I broke down that day in that kitchen. I broke down crying. I got up, went to the nearest church I can find, sat in the back. I had a hoodie, shorts, and some slides. Sat in the back, wait till altar call, went and gave my life to Christ. Shortly after that, I started going there, started doing this. 2 weeks later, I get baptized. 2 weeks later, I meet Leisha. Mm-hmm. And so, man, I'm liking her. She articulates, talks, she's smart. Oh, man, I like this. She's cute. I like her. So I'm now Friday nights. It's blockbusters and movies. Mm-hmm. And so we go. And so now we freshly married, because we got married October of 2005. I started my USDA job Christmas Day. That's the official date. But that Tuesday after Christmas, I started orientation of Christmas Day of 2005. So we moved to Georgia in 2006, North Georgia in 2006, February, something like that. So young couple, found a church, start becoming a very vital part in this particular church. And, knocking doors, witnessing, just living for Christ.
Super involved.
Yeah. Just living for Christ. Youth ministry, youth pastoring, just whatever needed to be done, we were there. Darwood was there. So one of the things, me knocking doors, I was talking to people, and the people say, man, I've been hurt by the church. I ain't ever going back to the church. I've been hurt by the church. I ain't never going. And me never experienced nothing really deep in life. You ain't been hurt. It's not people. It's not God. It's people. That's what I would tell them. The cliche we hear. It's not God. It's people. You'll be all right. Come back. I'm talking to people. Mm-hmm. Then the church hurt happens to me. And this ain't no church hurt about. It's not a church hurt about, oh, they didn't let me sing my song, or the usher made me sit over here, or usher made me do this. No, it was deep.
From leadership, I assume.
From leadership.
Gotcha.
From a leadership aspect. It would, and it cut me to the core. It cut me to the point to where I was like, I don't want this. If this is what Christianity is, I don't want nothing to do with this.
So that happens, and
that happens in an 8-year span.
So over
From
an 8-year span, 06 to 14.
Exactly.
So this happens closer to the end of 14.
Close to the end of 14, and so it got to a point to where I had to leave. So,
but in leaving, though, you're not just leaving to get away from it and continue your involvement in church? Like when you say leave, what do you?
Well, at the time, it was leave to get away from the situation.
Okay.
But the cut, it was so deep to where I didn't want anything to do with church. And I told my wife, I said, if I never speak again, if I never get the opportunity, I'm fine. My first priority is my family. That's my first ministry, is my family. So if I never do ministry again, I'm fine, because I don't want to feel this pain ever again. So I'm living life, and I haven't, from the time that a little bit after with Jerry, and I meet Leisha, and Leisha she said, I love you, but she said, when you drink, you become a totally different. This is early on. So I stopped drinking. Ain't touched alcohol that whole time. So I don't want nothing to do with the church. By then we moved back to Kentucky. That's when I said got away. I put in a transfer. I moved back to Kentucky, transferred, promoted to Indiana. In a year, promoted down to South Florida. Then I got rifted here. Basically, a plant closed down. The inspector that was there had more seniority, so I had to get rifted so I could go anywhere. We saw Rincon, never heard of it. Took a little day trip, rode around here to Rincon. So, we like it. We went to Savannah, never been to Savannah. Oh man, this is pretty cool. So I took the job here in Rincon. That's how we ended up here in Rincon.
And what was during that kind of leaving Atlanta or North Georgia and all those moves and stuff, what was your relationship like with the Lord during that time? Well,
it started out great because we went back to my wife's home church, Zion Baptist, and Reverend Lewis, top-notch guy. And he really brought me in, really allowed me to do some things, do some teachings, really good dude. And so he actually saw a little thing I used to do called Happy Monday that I used to do on Facebook. I'm going to get back to it one day. But I used to do it, and I didn't realize the impact that it was making at the time. But because I told Alicia, hey, I don't want them to know I used to be a minister. I don't want them to know nothing. So she didn't say nothing. And this guy's been, her pastor growing up, he was like a father figure to her. And so one day he asked her, was like, is your husband a minister? And Alicia he was like, well, what is he doing? And so she was like, well, I'll let y'all talk about that. So me and him went out, had breakfast and talked. And so he really helped me through. It was a moment to where I saw myself slipping, but he came in to help me. So then I promoted to Indiana. And this is when the spiral really started happening. So because I'm kind of isolated. I don't know nobody. The church is about an hour away. We was trying to go back and forth to the church. So I really started getting in.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So the spiral, you say, is you're removed from someone who seemed to be helping you, pouring into you, giving you some of those opportunities. Now you're isolated. I guess there's parts of your life that feel, I guess, void and alone. And up here,
right,
it starts to go south.
Right. At this moment, it was like, I think it really started happening because it's like me thinking about a lot of it. I was dealing with the hurt, and it's like as long as I was connected to something, I was kind of okay. But I still, being that this is June is Men's Mental Health Month, that Awareness Month, we deal with stuff as a man that we got to be a certain way, but in here, we hurt. And if we come out or say something, especially to our spouse or something, I don't want her to think I'm weak or think I'm this or think I'm that or just trusting anybody, because it was a trust issue was the main thing. It was the hurt. It was a trust issue. So me isolating, I'm living life, but start back drinking a little bit. Start with a little beer. Started back. Bourbon was my drink of choice. Started back drinking bourbon. Alicia, she was never okay with it, but she was like, "Hey, you work. You're a grown man. You work. I'm not out driving around or doing nothing crazy, and I'm at home just having a drink or whatever." So I ain't drinking years. So I started drinking, and so the more and more I started drinking, the more and more the isolation started coming, and then I started questioning a lot. I started questioning a lot about Christianity. I started looking at different religions. I started not believing anything, and so from Indiana, then I promote to Florida. Same much of a difference. Didn't know it because I'm down in South Florida, Fort Myers area. Not really knowing nobody. Trying to go to some churches, but nothing really happened. So we come to Rincon, and now I'm a few years in, and me and Alicia was going through the phone the other few months ago, and every birthday, I clocked every birthday, and I had a picture of me with one of those big margaritas, one of the big bowl margaritas at the Mexican restaurant, and every birthday I would, and I was looking at these, and I was like, wow, we got videos, and I'm drunk, and it's a few years ago, I'm drunk. And I said, I was doing everything to run from the pain.
Yeah.
I was doing everything I could to run from the pain.
The pain of the mistrust, the hurt.
Yeah. The mistrust, the hurt, and I think it was more of trying to protect so I don't feel that way.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't consider myself an introvert. I'm a people person.
Yeah.
But because I don't, like, people be like sometimes my boy be like, man, I ain't heard from you. I just get to going and get to moving. You get to doing things, like, not the thing. I'm trying to make a more conscious effort, but just I don't want to hurt nobody, and I don't want nobody hurting me.
So you're dealing with a painful something that happened in your life that was painful. Mm-hmm. You're dealing with it in a way that basically doesn't deal with it. It was hurtful. It was painful. I couldn't make sense of it. I don't understand it. It was tied to the church. It was tied to Christianity. It sounded like it started to tie to you, like who you were as a person.
Right.
And so you get to Rincon.
Yeah.
In 2019.
2019. And
from there.
And then 2019. So we're here, we're living, not doing nothing, enjoying Savannah, enjoying the local area. And, I'm not doing nothing bad, but I know, Nick, you know better than this. Like, come on now. We wake up on Sunday morning, we're not going to church, we're not doing anything. I'm working 7 days a week. So I justify a lot of it. I'm working 7 days a week. I don't have time for it. I just want to, when the days I'm off, fire up my grill, smoke something on the grill, enjoy myself, have me something to drink, and wind down. Sunday evenings, I would do it, have my bourbon. So anyway, I'm just floating through, but knowing in my heart, like, come on, dude, you know better than this. And so Alicia, she's a very pivotal point in this whole transition, because she knew what I was dealing with, and we would have some dark conversations.
Yeah. And
I know it scared the jeepers out of her with some of the stuff I was saying. And which she told me afterwards, but she was always there. That woman was always there. She got to a point where she said, I didn't even want to play gospel music around you because I didn't want you to think that I was trying to ram something in your face. So she would put it on her iPod. I'm listening to Luke Combs is real big about this time, and Jason Aldean, and a lot of his songs is drinking. So I'm just helping the situation. But I'm listening to a lot of the country music and different things, all kind of genres. But so we're making it. So Jaden, and this is where RCOG comes into play. So Jaden is he comes, he's 18, just turned 18. Jaden comes a couple years ago. He comes in the house and say, Dad, I want to go to Bible study. Now, before this, I'm thinking it's funny how we think we got to do it.
Yeah.
I got to get myself right.
Yeah.
I got to get myself back in the church. I got to do this. Mm-hmm. So we can't do nothing. But anyway, we think it's us. Mm-hmm. So the times that we were starting to go back, try to get into church, and I got a good friend in Florida, who's a pastor who's helped me out a lot through this in Tampa. So as my wife's best friend's husband. So he's helping me through this process, and he's being there, being a rock. And he told me one day, he said, man, sometimes you got to take a 10 count. Boxing. Sometimes you got to get to 9, 8, and get up. Just can't bounce right back up. Sometimes you got to sit there and so going through what I was going. So he was there helping me. So Jaden comes. So we're going into different, trying to visit churches. And I didn't believe in anxiety. I didn't believe in depression. I was 325 pounds, the biggest I've ever been in my life. I was depressed. I was having anxiety. I was walking into churches, heart pounding, palms sweaty, headaches. Some of them I would go through and sit through. Some of them I'd be like, let's just go to Waffle House, or let's just go to Cracker Barrel or somewhere and let's just go have lunch. Not wanting to go in, not wanting to deal with it, not wanting to go in. And if I saw anything that resembled anything in the past, one service, I picked my whole family up when we walked out the door. A whole family. Mm-hmm. And I saw similarities, and I was like, oh, absolutely not. And my best friend said, next time, you may have to sit through it, because you want to respect the house. And, right. Your whole family getting up, walking out, bro. It just don't. So he's always talked straight with me, always been there. So I'm going through this process, and it's deep, and I'm seeing anxiety, I'm seeing depression, I'm seeing weight gain like never before, and cause cooking and eating, that's like my place, So Jaden comes and he said, Dad, I'm going to youth night. All right, cool. So he goes, and I start seeing immediately within 2 weeks, I start seeing changes in him. I'm like, okay, for one thing, he's taking showers. Let's just start there. 16 years old. He's getting up in the morning playing Christian music. He's playing Christian music. Because in my house, growing up, we couldn't blast our music, and so me growing up, y'all ain't. My kids, no, you put your things in, but we don't want to hear it, blase. But anyway, so he in the bathroom, got his Christian music, he's taking showers, and I'm seeing some changes. Mm-hmm. Okay. So about a month later, a month and a half, maybe 2, he come back and he said, Daddy, I'm going to get baptized. I said, when you get baptized? If I'm not mistaken, October the 23rd, I think it was. Maybe the 22nd. Maybe the 20th. So I say, I'll be there. No. I'm coming here to... And one of my anxieties that I was dealing with was like, again, I got to get this right. Mm-hmm. Because if I find a church and it's messed up, that's another bad situation I got to get myself right.
Yeah.
I got to find the right church. Putting the pressure all on me. And so that's where a lot of the anxieties was coming in and happening. So Jaden comes, he said, Dad, I'm getting baptized. I said, I'll be there. So just to show, that was a Sunday, baptized 25 people. Mm-hmm. And that particular Sunday, and it changed my life. Because that particular Sunday, first Jaden said, I'm getting baptized. Son, you got baptized at 7. Why are you getting baptized again? And he was like, well, I have a more understanding of why I'm doing it. So I'm going to do it again. I said, okay, I'll be there. So I think a lot of the guards was off because I'm not here to find a church.
You're just coming to support your son.
I'm coming to support my son who's getting baptized.
Makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm just going to come watch this.
And I'm coming to watch this.
Yeah.
So that particular Sunday, it's a packed house. 25 people getting baptized.
I remember the Sunday.
I remember that day.
It was a packed house. Mm-hmm. Well, my son's girlfriend at the time, her mom, Jansen, Janicia, and Alicia, there was only 5 people could fit on a row where we were sitting. And so I told Alicia, I said, well, I sit right here. So kind of where's that corner side. I sit here on that. So I could still see them. I'm still near them. And so where Alicia was sitting, if she turned right there, she could see me. So they started playing the music for the baptism. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my son, the boy's a splitting image of. If you look at my high school pictures, if you look at me in middle school, boy's a splitting image of his dad. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at this person that looks like me, a younger version of me. And he's up there, they're taking the picture, they introduce him, they're taking the picture. So he goes in, and they have the little kids, so he's one of the last ones to get baptized. And so as they coming, if I'm not mistaken, the song was Back to Life.
Sounds about right.
I think that was the song.
That sounds right.
You balled me back. Mm-hmm. I could be wrong, but it was something along that. So Jaden's, they baptized, and God is just, he doing this thing because I'm just here to support my kid. So God just doing his thing. And I'm over there and I'm bawling. Alicia said she turned her head. She saw me. She said, I wanted to come over there so bad and support you and to be with you. But she said, God was doing his thing. So she said, I'm going to stay out the way and let God do his thing. So Jaden gets up, and I kid you not, every fear, every anxiety, every worry, every doubt that I had questioning Christianity, questioning God, Jesus, the Holy Trinity, everything that I've been building over the last few years. Jaden goes in that water. He walks. Jaden goes in that water. And I swear to you, from the time that boy hit that water to the time he came out of that water, every fear, anxiety, and doubt I had was gone.
Wow.
It was gone. It was gone to the point to where I didn't even question the church. I didn't even. You walk in the door, hey, welcome to RCOG. That's why we do the
welcome.
the welcome team,
Yeah.
the greeters, because hey, welcome to RCOG. Man, these people are super nice. And you go in the lobby, welcome to RCOG. Okay, we go sit down. 3 or 4 other people come. Welcome. If you need anything, just let us know. If you see somebody with his tag on, just let them know that they can help you. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, Because I'm wondering what they doing to my son. Why is he taking showers? Why is he listening to God? Like I'm wondering what they doing to the boy. And I need to investigate what's going on.
It sounds to me like what happened to him was, I think what was so amazing about what the Lord does for us and the moments that he finds us and where he finds us. Like you came that morning with no idea, like you weren't looking for anything.
No.
Like I think in a lot of cases you'd already kind of made up your mind, or you were kind of in this place and you just wanted to watch your son get baptized. But what moves me and what is the fact that he had orchestrated that.
Yeah.
Not only for Jaden,
but
for your family, for you, that in that moment he had that moment for you in mind to meet you when you weren't looking for it.
He knew what you needed.
And just to take a step back, me and Alicia had a comment. I think this is very valid. Me and Alicia had a conversation that morning in the room, in the bed before church, because she's asking, "You gonna be all right?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'll be all right." She said, "All right." She said, "We got to talking. I don't even know how we got on the subject." And I asked her, I said, "Why are you waiting on me?" I told her, I said, "I'm a lost." Remember I told you some of those dark conversations we had that morning, that baptism morning? I said, "I'm a lost cause. I'm done. Why are you waiting on me? Go to church. Maybe I'll catch up later. Go to church, do your thing. Maybe I can catch up with you later." And she looked at me and said, "No." She said, "You're my husband." She said, "I'm not leaving you." And she said, "I know the man of God that's inside of you." And she said, "I believe it with everything inside of me. So no, I'm not going to leave." She said, "If I have to read devotions and do this until whatever happens, but I'm going to be right here with you." Now, some people may look at it like, "Well, she's stupid and dumb," or they may look at it in one way, but I looked at it like, wow, you got to think. Foster care, adoption, Job Corps. You got to think a lot of rejection and then what happened in the church that I've dealt with in my life. Like, dang, man, she here for me.
Yeah.
Like, she with me for me. So when she said that, and then we come to the church that morning, and that's when, like you say, God met me right where I was at, because I just walked in. So after the service, because it's different, because of 25 people, so it's our first time there. So she knows me. I'm all about the word. Like when I go to a church, okay, the songs and everything, it's great, love it. What is coming? What can I take to apply to my life? What lessons? Because I've been in an environment where every Sunday it's like you was in a boxing match. Like you wouldn't even walk out feeling like you can go conquer the world. Every Sunday you're not doing this right. Pretty much. It was like a boxing match. So we come here and Pastor Les preaches, and at that time, if I'm not mistaken, it may be the next Sunday or whatever, but he did the flashlight and he was talking about focusing right. God not focusing on, because I get ahead of myself and looking at the future and looking at everything around, and he had the flashlight, and like how I learned, like I can grasp that, I can get that. He had the he had the flashlight, and I was like, if we just focus right here, not so much what's in the dark, focus right here that's in this light. That was the message. I think it was that Sunday or the next Sunday. So anyway, I think it was the next Sunday. So Alicia, she looks at me and she say, "So what do you think?" So I'm like, it was I. No, I'm just playing. So
allergy.
So yes, little Misty. So after service, she looked at me. She said, "What do you think?" I said, "Man, the word was on point." I said, "Well, why don't we come back next Sunday and see what a normal service feels like?" Since that, we had this big Sure. Big baptism, let me come. And to that Sunday, that next Sunday, we haven't left. We've felt at home, and that was that slogan, "Welcome home." Simple, but people really need to understand what home. Like you have a house, the building, but home is the love. Is what all the parts put into.
Yeah, and it's not. You're right. It's not just a slogan, and it's not something that we just as a church want to, get right. But it's like this podcast, a living room podcast, or welcome like somebody's home, it's where real people, real problems, real situations, where there's an environment where those real things can meet a real God,
right,
and a real Holy Spirit,
right,
so that real healing can begin to occur. And I think that's a lot of what you're saying you experienced that Sunday morning.
Brad, that's exactly what I experienced, because like I said, it was like, and that's why I get involved in praise and worship. I love my God. I'm going to dance and have a good time, because 2003 and 4, when I was in the club and I was in the world and I was doing that, I was there. I'm walking in. I'm having the time of my life. So because I switched partners and now I'm with Christ, still should be having that great time.
Oh, I see you up there.
But but the thing about it is, I haven't experienced that in years.
Wow.
That awe of God, that just want to be in your presence, that thank you, God, thank you. That whole aspect of this journey, I haven't experienced that in years.
Well, I think that's, as we get close to wrapping this up, is a great place to really start bringing this session in, is from that Sunday in October to now. What would you say in terms of what you've experienced personally in your own spirit, in your own soul, and what you've learned collectively about who God is to you? How would you sum that up? Like, what would you say? What is that? What is all that meant for you? Like, if you were to say, hey, sum that window of your life up, that Sunday to now, in all things God and you, what would you? How would you do that? What would you say?
What comes to mind as you ask that question, He'll never leave us. He'll never forsake us. And He will wait.
Yeah.
He's patient. He's like the definition of love. Not the what everybody think love is. It's that. I'm sure God looked at some of us and looked at me in that moment and say, this boy, yeah. I'm sure He feels, but it's the fact that He was there. Even in those moments where I didn't feel anything. And He found me, and I was the one that was lost, because He was there. But it's like the radio waves, there's radio waves that's going on right now all around us, right? Mm-hmm. And we can't hear nothing that's playing on those radio waves right now because we don't have the device to pick up those radio waves to listen to that radio. So God could be speaking and doing what he's doing, and I'm floating around, and I'm Nick. Come, son, I love you. I'm here. But until that Sunday, to where I was in a position, whether it's just to come to see my son
You
get
weren't trying to
baptized,
tune into a specific channel, but you was there.
I
Right?
wasn't right. And so, but once I got in a place, I didn't have guards up.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, what the pastor doing, what the priest about, what they're looking at, what's going. Wasn't nothing like that. So once I got in that place, then I was able to pick up that wave. And when God dropped, when that Sunday happened, and to answer the question, it was like, whole time he was right there. I didn't see it. A lot of it I was questioning. But to know that God has been there, and I had to walk this journey. But I tell you this, if I ever talk to somebody again, and I ever witness to somebody again, and they tell me, I ain't going back to no church, I've been hurt, my response will not be, oh, that's just people. That wasn't God. You'll get over it. You'll be fine. Because you don't know the depth of somebody else's hurt.
Yeah.
To have such a cliche answer like that. And so now I have something, bro, I done been there. I know exactly where you are right now and know what it's going to take to help you through that process.
And what you're saying right now is really, I think, one of the biggest reasons for this podcast is it just gives us the opportunity to hear those parts of people's stories, like in your story, that someone else could grab hold of,
Yeah.
and gain encouragement from.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you for agreeing to do this, for first and foremost, for being so open and honest, and I'm excited just personally, just in getting to know you, and it was always those next steps, right? Like,
Yeah.
what's next? What's God got for me next?
Yeah.
And we don't ever know for
Right.
sure,
Right.
but it makes me excited for you, because you put yourself in a position on that Sunday morning with your guards down, like you said, and you met a man in our Savior who redirected your course,
Right.
and your path, and it's positioned you now, I think, to it doesn't necessarily have to be that we're waiting for the next thing or whatever that is, but just knowing that we're walking in proximity to Him,
Right.
and the peace that comes with that,
Yeah.
the reassurance that comes with that, the replacement of the anxiety and the fear.
It's the beauty of community. And it's as simple as walking through Walmart. Hey, Brad. Hey, Kelly. It's feeling like you belong.
Yeah.
Because for 5 years, we going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home. We didn't know nobody. We didn't. So the importance of the community is that's why people, I don't need to go to church. I was there. I don't need to go to church. I can put God in my heart and whatever. Okay, you do. But we're meant to be together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was funny when Pastor did the whole thing on Shrek the sheep, and I nicknamed myself Shrek.
Yeah, you are Shrek.
I'm Shrek.
You are Shrek.
It's Shrek the sheep. It was like, if the enemy can get you isolated, if he can get you to yourself. I used to think this was in the Bible, but I don't think it is. I haven't found it yet. But they used to have a saying that says, the idle mind is a devil's workshop. And and it's the truth. When you get out away and you get isolated, and that gives things playing in your mind, in your head, in your brain. A lot of what I've realized, a lot of this was me up here.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I wasn't. I just said, well, am I qualified? Am I educated enough? If God used Moses, if God used Paul, Peter, these dudes had issues. They had situations. David.
We forget the parts of their story that weren't
so great. Like
all of them. Like the parts of their story is not good.
Right. And so, who am I to deny what the Lord can do?
Yeah.
Well, and I think that you talking about community, how thankful you are for the community here. I think it goes both ways. Like, seeing you guys, your family, how integral you guys are now in our church. I think about it, I'm like, I can't imagine if you guys weren't here.
Wow.
Like,
Wow.
we're so thankful
Wow.
that you're here. So it goes both ways. And the fact that never forget that when you guys came through Growth Track and we're like, okay, we want to serve. We want to do what we experience. We want to give back. I think we're just thankful for that as well. Yes, so, thank you for sharing your story, but also thank you for being here. Again, can't imagine it.
I can't either. I think that's a great place to land it. And again, want to say thank you so much.
Man, thank y'all
for that and for sharing. And so, yeah, thanks, ma'am.
No problem.
All right.
Thank y'all.